So
Oh, I
now,
see. It's being live streamed. Wow. Okay.
so
Oh, live stream universe.
yes, so I'm not going to, we'll have to wait to chat.
Oh, sure. Let's see. I just opened the agenda. So if I need to, you usually share it. And so
yeah, I can share. I'm set up for that. Now I also am going to see if I can, well, Albert Rodriguez. So I've asked people from KYCC. I'm going to see if we can do a live transcript.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Enable auto transcription. Okay. We're going to, it's at the bottom. We're also, hi, Albert. We're also transcribing as best as this computer will transcribe. I will say that sometimes we get strange messages.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Nice to finally meet all of you.
You too.
Yeah.
So Albert, I'm losing track. Are you KYCC or a neighbor?
You know what? I need to rename my, let me rename me. Thank you so much for observing that.
Which must mean that you're KYCC.
KYCC.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, good.
I am KYCC.
Oh, yay. Well, can't wait to hear about that.
So Elizabeth, I mean, okay. So Albert, we are already being recorded, even though we haven't started the meeting, because we're in a new technology world and we don't know how to stop and start it. But Elizabeth, you probably saw the email where the people we were working with at KYCC are not the people we're working with now.
Right.
So, but we're not starting that piece of the meeting yet. Although it is 8 o'clock if you wanted to call the meeting to order, up to you, Elizabeth.
Sure. Do we want to stop for a second? And Laura, do you want us to text some, the usual suspects and ask?
Sure. We have not figured out how to stop and start the YouTube, so we'll just carefully be kind while you're texting the usual suspects.
And who do you think I should?
Well, see if Dan, because his email always bounces, and Charlie, but I don't know her phone number unless you do.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn my camera off for just
No
a few, and then I'll be back.
No problem.
Great. So Dan Cagle, I have 2 numbers for him. Maybe that's the one. No. Let's see. Dan, I don't seem to have one that, when you text somebody and you see that you've previously texted them. Hi, Dan.
Well, Christy's here.
Christy!
She's not quite here. So I'm going to get up and get my light dinner.
Okay. Christy Webb. Christy Webb? Christy Webb?
She's here.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm trying to unmute myself.
Oh, great. We were just going to text people.
Oh, Dan's here.
And Dan's here.
And hi, Christy.
Hi, Laura.
Oh.
And I don't see, I just let Dan in. There's Dan. Hi. And I'm looking for Charlie. Is it CHARLIE?
CHARLY.
Tap, right?
But Elizabeth Hall is here, so we really should just start.
Okay, awesome. Hi, Elizabeth Hall.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's nice to see everybody again.
Oh, we're just
people are still joining. Davina's here now too.
Oh, awesome. Meeting. And I just texting Charlie if I got the right number. We will see.
Wow. Wow. Those subtitles are awesome.
Right. They'll be fun when they misspell everything.
Yeah, but it's pretty damn good. This is totally the future.
Mm. What did it? Okay.
So Elizabeth, whenever you want to call the meeting to order, and then I can share the screen.
That's fine. So hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Fenner, and you know where you are. You're with the UNNC Sustainability Committee monthly meeting for August of 2022, a historic time in the scheme of things. And I just missed, there you go. Thank you. Scroll down. The first thing I need to read is a determination to continue to hold the meetings virtually. The Board of Neighborhood Commissions and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment has, in their wisdom, seen the benefit of continuing to be virtual. Is that enough, Laura?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And then so welcome all. It's really great to see the crew today on the call. And I guess I'm calling the meeting to order, and let's do instructions as a popcorn thing. So I will say something about myself, I'll pass it, and then you say something, a couple of words about how you are, who you are, and then you pass it to the next person. So I'm Elizabeth Fenner, calling from Wichita, Kansas right now. Still a thread of connection. This is my thread back to California and Los Angeles. I'm really happy to be here. I am meeting with the Republican women and with my Republican representative, Ron Estes, tomorrow to ask them what kind of green initiatives they have. So I'm working the green angle here in Wichita, and I'm going to pass it to Davina.
Hello, everyone. I'm Davina. I am currently inside of a Chipotle ordering dinner, but I live in Mid-City. or Arlington Heights. I'm a renter and like coming to these environmental committee meetings. And I'll popcorn it to, I can't see everyone, so I'm on my phone, so I'll popcorn it to Laura because I know she's here.
And I'm sitting back down. I'm Laura Myers, and I'm on the board of United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council, and I live in Angeles Vista. And I have grown to love this community of environmentalists, and Elizabeth keeps calling it sustainability, but I don't know if that's sustainabilitists. Anyway, but environmentalists, and I will pass this to Albert.
Hi, everyone. Well, this is my first time being on this meeting. My name is Albert Rodriguez. I am with Koreatown Youth and Community Center. I am the program manager for the Environmental Services Unit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with KYCC. We're a multi-ethnic, multi-services nonprofit that's been around. It has been around longer than I've been alive. Actually, it was established in 1975, and I know that because I was born in 1976. So, jogs my memory. But anywho, let's jump to Dan.
You're muted.
Unmute.
And I just got a text from Charlie. She's about to join us.
Thank you. I'm Dan Cagle. I live in West Adams Heights, Sugar Hill, I think. And I'm at one point in the distant past, I was a co-chair of this committee, but I lost my mojo, and partly I lost it to COVID. I had it last month, and it ripped me to shreds. But I'm back.
Looking good. You want to pass it?
Who's left?
Hi.
Christy Webb?
Yes, hello. Hi, I'm Christy. I live in the Avenues. I actually live across from Elizabeth when she's in Los Angeles, not exiled in Kansas. And I'm here to learn whatever I can and to help out doing whatever I can. I've been a longtime member of West Adams Heritage and participant in many events through that organization, a little bit less active due to COVID in the last couple of years, but hopefully we'll be moving into a different era soon. So, hi, everyone.
And I think Elizabeth Hall is also here.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Elizabeth. I live in Culver City, but I work with an organization, Garden School Foundation, that's based out of West Adams.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I know Charlie's not here, so we'll meet her when she comes. Do you want to go quickly through this agenda so I can take it off the screen?
Sure. So we'll go in this order. We'll have public comment. Then we'll go to composting workshop, planning. My pen's not working. Then we'll go to LADWP Cool, I think Cool LA. Assistance program, Cool LA, and then our proposed biodiversity motion, and then we have KYCC trees. Yes, and I think the composting workshop is in the provenance of Elizabeth Hall. So let's start.
I'm going to stop the share. I'll bring it back up when we get to the biodiversity motion so that we see the actual motion. Dan has his hand up.
Yeah, in the past, as a courtesy to people who are here sort of for one agenda item, we might want to consider doing the KYCC thing earlier.
Okay, but not earlier than Elizabeth's thing, she's here for one item too, Elizabeth Hall.
Let's do that then. So we do composting and then trees.
Sure.
Okay. All right, with the composting, yeah.
So Elizabeth, do you want me to share the screen, or will you want to share the screen?
You mean the form, the grant form that you shared?
Well, yeah, or anything else. I don't know if you have anything
I'm comfortable.
else.
I'm very comfortable.
Not that. No, not you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Hall. Sorry. Garden School Foundation, Elizabeth. Were you planning to share anything on the screen? Because I would need to make you a co-host.
I actually wasn't. I was just going to give a verbal recap since some of you guys are already pretty familiar with the workshops. So I'll try to keep it brief too, to keep this online.
Okay. So at some point after you give your brief, I will share the screen with the proposed NPG, and then I'll take it back down. But going pro forma, because we're forwarding it on to executive committee. Okay.
Great. So last May, we did a composting workshop at our flagship garden. We're with Garden School Foundation. It's at 24th Street Elementary, so it's kind of right in the heart of West Adams. And we've been there for about 15 years. And so the composting workshops are designed to address the new mandate that went through. People are very excited about it, but a lot of people just don't know how to get started. And even if they do compost at home, they don't know what to do with it. So there aren't a lot of public resources for composting at home. And so this workshop is really meant to bridge the gap between resources. And so we were hoping to do a series of, and this is what we proposed in our grant, 4 workshops. It's 2 in the fall and 2 in the spring, with the first one starting in October, which is a great, gives us plenty of time to do outreach and things like that. Each workshop is going to be about a slightly different theme. One will focus on how to build containers and use them and things like that. So they'll be a little bit different so that people can actually attend more than one workshop, build upon those skills, and hopefully take it back to their neighborhoods and share that information. And a unique thing that we're going to plan on doing is a double-sided information sheet that we'll give home with everybody who attends. So that after the workshop, they're not like, oh no, I forgot it all, and it's going to be a resource that's accessible online as well. So if you lose your paper, you'll be able to get it that way too. So it's really just designed to get people in the community composting and to really feel comfortable doing it and sharing that knowledge with other people. So we're asking for $500 per workshop, which gives us supplies, staff, and planning. In total, it would be about $2,000.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to share the screen, assuming I can find it again. Huh. Oh, here it is. And so for those who don't know, what this is an application for a neighborhood purposes grant. And with the rules that we have at the city for funding, it's the easiest thing to do is to essentially get approval to write a check to a nonprofit 501c3 organization. And so we had already funded one workshop earlier, as Elizabeth said. So I'm going to see if we can read these words, but it's that GSF will partner with UNNC, so we have to also do the outreach to teach local residents and school families the ins and outs of composting. And as we've discussed, and I think this is already what we've heard, and it's, basically it's the reason is to support a public purpose is Senate Bill 1383, which mandates sooner rather than later that all of us have to start not sending all of our food waste to the trash. So, okay, so I'm going to stop the share.
Thank you.
Albert has his hand up, and then I have a question to Elizabeth for Elizabeth Fenner to call on me.
Okay.
Yes, that was really, really good, Elizabeth. I had an idea. We've been wanting to compost, and especially as an environmental services unit, this is something that we've been wanting to do. We don't have because our staff are out in the field, we don't really have the manpower to put something together. My idea would be that we would definitely make room if you ever wanted to have one at our site that you could actually bring people and show them and demonstrate and actually have that, and we could also partner in the way that within our coverage area, we have dump trucks. We could pick up some of that compost and actually use it on our trees and when we plant and when we backfill concrete cuts. So, I mean, that's a big idea maybe, but we can definitely do something of that nature. So we would love to host one of those composting plates. We would totally compost and we can keep it up because we have community service volunteers that would help us to keep that up. But I especially like the idea of you being able to bring people to actually show them what it looks like and how it's working. And at the same time, they engage with our nonprofit. They engage in what we do as far as, bringing a greener and a bigger canopy to LA. So I think it would be a win-win situation. And we could talk about maybe for those that don't know what to do with their compost, we might be able to pick it up and use it.
So now I have two questions. Back to Albert, where is the workspace that you were talking about? Geographically.
19. It is right on the corner of Albany and Pico. So it is pretty central to LA.
Yeah, in Pico Union area. Yeah, Pico Union area.
That's right.
It's really close.
Pico Union area. So
yeah. So what do you think? And Albert, do your people who work at KYCC know how to compost, or would this be something learning for them too?
This would be a learning experience for us. We started, our community engagement team started a recycling program for us as far as staff and all this great stuff. We were totally talking about composting, right? We go and actually buy soil.
Right.
So this would be a perfect thing for us, not only to engage the community, but also show what environmentalists are all about, as well as continue just to engage all of these topics, right?
Right. So I'm thinking out loud. What would be really great is if at the October one. So you're not familiar with Garden School Foundation, but they have this big setup as well by 24th Street School. So they're already composting. So it'd be really great if the KYCC folks could go to the first composting workshop and learn how to compost, right, on their site. And then maybe enter into a partnership where they can help teach at your site.
And expand.
Right, and expand, because you're in a different neighborhood, which, I mean, you know, speak and teach and helping the community learn how to do it. Because our goal is to help everyone learn how to do it in their own backyards. And you're right, and then figure out what to do with it if they're not gardening.
But I love your energy, and I absolutely think that you're
Wow.
right, that I think the KYCC brand would just be enhanced.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it sounds like you have the infrastructure to expand and really use it. And I'm curious about, Elizabeth, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we have a really large composting area set up at the garden, and we do sometimes composting workshops at like other locations. So I would definitely be interested in like exploring like a partnership or some sort of collaboration going forward. I think that sounds great. I think right now we're still kind of in an exploratory phase of doing the workshops. So we would probably try to have the first 4 that we did just at the garden, because we host them at the same time as our community garden day. So they kind of function as dual workshops and volunteer events to kind of tend to the garden and things like that. And we also run a cafeteria to compost program. So they compost the food in the cafeteria. So it's kind of like an on-site operation where we can teach. We already have a lot of big piles and stuff and bins. So it's a good way to do the workshop, but there's a lot of good ways to take that on the road. You know, and that's something that's super exciting to think about.
Right. So, again, I'm just thinking out loud. Elizabeth Hall, did you have a chance to talk to the other neighborhood council about participating in this?
No, I actually didn't reach out. We decided instead to just scale back the number of workshops, because I think originally we had proposed 9 workshops, and we actually thought that 4 would work a little bit better, just because, you know, for a variety of things. So we also hoped by scaling it back, it would be more realistic funding wise.
Okay, so I'm asking the same questions that somebody else may ask at executive or at the board. And so what I would like to be able to say, you know, at the officers level and the board level, is that along with this, we had an exciting development where KYCC is proposing also collaborating and expanding this composting workshop program even larger, though this application is for a small focus, you know, something to that effect. Because I think it's going to be really important to expand to help everyone, Angelina, learn how to not waste, you know, not throw away the food waste, especially since we're mandated to do that. So
Can I ask something? I
know
know
you can ask whatever you want.
like Elizabeth, you have worked long and hard to get your system going, and it sounds like a very well-run machine. And Albert, it sounds to me also like a site visit to the Garden Foundation to see how they do what they're doing would probably be very illuminating. Are you ready to hit the ground running? It's KYCC. Do you have all the approvals that you need to start something? Or are you in the beginning stages?
No, this is something that I'm just talking about right here. So I would, you know, definitely wouldn't be able to hit the ground floor running, but it's something that I would want to connect with Elizabeth. I'd want to learn more. I'd want to explore. We have a summer youth program every year, which we get from the community, Pico Union, stuff like that. And we actually give them hands-on experience in the environmental services field. So we give them experience tree planting, graffiti removal, cleaning the public right-of-way. And right now we have about 8 state grants and around 6 city grants, as well as like maybe 8 contracts with the city of LA as well. And so we're definitely very busy, but these programs, they just could be great collaboration. We had a curriculum for our summer youth, right? And every Friday or every Thursday, they would go on a field trip. This would have been great to take them to the garden, you know, and have them learn about composting, because we want to give them full experience, not only in environmental justice, but as well as sustainability. So this is just, I really want to explore. We would probably want to start out as just being a site that composts, where Elizabeth, maybe people might not be able to get to where you're at. People from Pico Union, it's more accessible, and you have another site that you could actually one day say, hey, we're going to open up a class here at Pico Union. There, Pico Union, for all the residents in Pico Union to learn how to compost. So I'm thinking really geographically for the people in LA, getting around, parking and all of this stuff. When you make it very easily accessible for people, I think they tend to be more engaging. When they have to travel, or they have to get on a bus, or they have to do X, Y, and Z, it's just a little harder. And I take the metro, right? And so I know how hard it is sometimes to just get to different places.
So I'm going to jump in, lower my hand, talk. So I have another thought, which is that Elizabeth Hall and Garden School Foundation have trouble accessing in the summertime the garden for the public use, right? I mean, you continue your work, but only staff. So maybe between now and next summer, that you two and your respective organizations could figure out how to get a good program going at KYCC, because you're open in the summer, whereas 24th Street School is not easily. So
we're open 360
right.
days. We only close for 5 days a year.
The garden and the composting thing is open, but not to the public when the school is closed, basically. So for our purposes, Elizabeth Fenner, I think all we need to do is a motion to support the NP requested, 4 workshops, requested NPG, and forward it on to executive committee. In other words, we do a motion to forward this to both our officers and then the governing board for approval.
Absolutely. If we could have someone make a motion and someone second, then I'd like to get a little bit of feedback from everybody else in the room, but then we can go ahead and vote. So Laura, yeah. Can you move?
I can, but it would be ever so much better if somebody else made a motion.
Dan? Christy?
You're all muted though, however.
Christy, you're muted. Laura, could you write the motion? Your wording is really good.
Okay.
Write the wording in the chat and then see if somebody will step up. It becomes a matter of record, right, if you make a motion. And Laura, you're typing?
I am.
While she's typing and while we're waiting for that to come up, anyone have some thoughts, comments? Christy, it seemed like you were about to say something.
Okay, so that would be the motion, or good enough.
Christy, you want to finish?
And I'm reading her motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll move to support
ju-
4 home composting workshops to be sponsored by UNNC and GSF, to be funded by an NPG in the amount of $2,000.
Do we have a second?
I have a question.
First, let's second it.
Can I second it? I don't know. I
Yes.
second.
Davina second.
Okay, I second.
All right. Now, Dan, what's your comment?
What's the NPG exactly?
It's $2,000, which would be $500 per each workshop. So 4 workshops, each at $500.
Right,
Two in
but
the-
what's
two in the
the funding
fall.
source?
I'm sorry,
UNNC, I believe, right?
United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council to pay it, obviously, and Garden School Foundation.
And NPG stands for what?
NPG stands for, give me a minute.
Neighborhood purpose
Neighborhood
grant.
purpose.
Neighborhood purpose grant.
I'm writing it all. Grant equals NPG. I'm gonna do all of these.
Any other
GSF
questions?
Equals Garden School Foundation. And again, we're not approved. We can't approve. We can just forward it on.
To the executive board, yes. But this has been brewing for a while. So it feels like the stew is done and we're
Right.
ready to approve and move on. Shall we have a vote?
Before we vote,
Mhm.
I have this gut feeling that that dollar amount is too high.
Correct.
Um,
But we will have, we would forward it and then executive would determine that.
Right, yes. But I've just had this gut feeling that anything over 1,000 is going to be hard.
Understood. I mean, I'm not even disagreeing with you. Understood completely.
Well, what happens in that event if they deem that it's too high? Does it
Well,
get reduced? Do they?
well, it may
only
be that
part of
they
it?
say, let's do 3, and then Elizabeth goes and reaches out to Mandacy for the 4th. I mean, in other words, we're starting early enough to figure that out. Right? I mean, in other words, we have a price per workshop. So what we just don't know is the money available from UNNC. And it is true, Dan. I mean, all the neighborhood councils are still on the reduced $32,000 a year budget that was reduced to that amount during COVID. And even though the city got all the COVID money back from the federal government, they did not put our budgets back where they used to be. So that part's true. So it may be that we don't get $2,000. So, but I think if we don't ask for it, the answer is we won't get it.
How much money do we need for trees? Are we set there?
I think you guys are going to get that 2,000. There's been talks in the city that there's money for MPG grants. So, yeah.
Great. Yeah, let's ask for it. Let's ask for that. All I was thinking was if we could somehow assure the executive committee that people are going to walk away with the ability and the motivation to start their own composts.
Well, this was well received when Elizabeth Hall when we did a report on the results. Was that just last month? I mean, life is just, no, at governing board. It was very well received, and Greg, who's the new president, liked the program a lot. So, if we don't ask for it, we're not going to get it.
How are we for tree funding? Are we all set there?
We have $0 in this year's budget for tree funding, but that's because we haven't asked for any tree funding yet. But again, we're probably going to have to go to the council office, if we ever have a council person again, and ask for their funds. They have discretionary funds.
Right, and how much would we ask them for?
$10,000 is what I would ask them for.
All right, so that's
That's a separate topic.
okay. So I'd like to vote and move on because we only have until 11 my time.
Right.
My
So
meeting.
just in terms of who can vote, anyone who is a stakeholder, defined as a stakeholder, can vote. So what the city defines as a stakeholder is anyone who lives, works, attends school, or, there's a couple other things, but also who is essentially a participant in an organization that has an address within the boundaries of a particular neighborhood council. So Albert, that would mean you cannot vote, but Elizabeth Hall, that means you can vote because you work with, 24th Street. So it's
And me?
sort of specific.
Laura, can I vote?
You live here and own property. Yes, you can.
I own property.
Even if
Okay.
if you're not currently domiciled here, it doesn't matter. You also own the property.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyway, so Albert, you could vote if you live here or own property, but you can't vote here based on KYCC because their actual address is not in our property.
Okay.
All right. So
In the interest of moving on to trees, how many vote? What's our vote? How many vote yes for the motion?
Yes.
Yes. Great. Dan?
I'm voting no. This is maybe my first no vote ever. And it's strictly a dollars thing.
Symbolic. Okay. Okay.
no,
thank you.
it's real. It's real.
No,
No, I
dollars.
understand that.
Dollars, not symbolic, dollars.
No,
Not symbolic.
yeah, I get it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Noted. All right. The motion passes. And let's move on to the other agenda item, which is the trees. Laura, take it away.
Okay. So Albert, I'm gonna share the screen with that complicated Excel spreadsheet. And I don't know if you had a chance. It's not just complicated. But I have to
Oh,
scroll.
my heavens.
Albert, did KYCC have a chance to take a look at that right-hand column on this list of trees?
And by the way, this it was largely created by Dan Cagle.
Yes, it was.
So,
And in April, well, what happened is that I can't scroll back and forth. I'm really sorry, you guys, because I don't know how to change the view. So I can only at the moment scroll up and down. We created a list of proposed 25 sites on Washington Boulevard to plant trees in a project that has been going on and on since 2019. And we've donated money to KYCC to get it going. And when KYCC went out and inspected with the city inspector, and my internet connection is suddenly unstable. So if I go out, Elizabeth, your co-host, will stay in. But when KYCC went out, they added locations. So now we were at too many because we only have the money for 25. And we've only committed to continue to raise money for 25 for the 3 years. So we went through and ourselves basically kind of re-reviewed a second time. We did it in December of 2021 and then April of 2022. And we made some very specific recommendations of removals. So for example, there's a tree that's on 18th Street next to Food for Less, and it's thus not on Washington Boulevard. It's a full block away. So we said, just remove that tree. Those folks have money to plant trees and should do it. And then we also, the one by Winchell's has already been planted, so move that from the list. The one at the Debbie Allen Dance Academy, or DADA, they're supposed to be planting trees based on their construction. It's a new building, so there's 2 of those we wanted to remove from the list. But we're having trouble getting down to 25. And then part of the issue was, or is, that there's some broken curbs. And we think, and Albert, you can confirm this, that we can't plant where there's a broken curb because the city might come back in and repair the curb, but that might damage the new tree. So my feeling is that if these are perfect sites other than the broken curb, we should ask the city to repair the curb before October, if that's at all feasible, so we can plant. So did you guys at KYCC have a chance to kind of go through this and help us out so we can get down to the 25?
Yes, so not me, our urban forestry coordinator went through it. Unfortunately, he had a procedure done yesterday and he's out. And so that's why I'm filling in today. But what we are recommending is that we remove lines 2 through 6, 11, 12, and 17.
Okay.
6, 11, 12, and 17 were recommended by UNNC to remove. And so we totally agree with that. And then we also agree to the trees on Washington, the 2 through 5 would be recommended to remove.
The trees not on Washington, 2 through 5.
Through 2 through 5.
Right, okay. Does that get us to 25? Assuming we get the cages removed and the curbs repaired.
Yeah, so the cage, the ones that are caged, locations to stay, but we don't have any capacity to remove the cages.
We understand. And then, but also, should we be asking the council office to repair, it's 1 or 2 curbs to get that done real fast? Is that going to be needed? That's the question. So that would be line, hang on, I'm going to.
I'd like to have
line 27.
I'd like to have a backup plan just in case.
Yes, I think it's important that the city goes out there and fixes the curb. That is important. I think that you guys, if you guys petition or if you guys talk to your council, they will take care of that.
Okay.
You know, especially given the fact that we want to plant trees, we want to provide canopy for the residents, and you know, I think that this is something vital, and that they would totally be on board.
They should be, yeah.
They should be. So KYCC, we can handle the re-permitting, hopefully, as the cages are removed. A timetable with permitting and tree purchase we would be looking at early to mid-October. The thing is, I'm gonna have Jonathan send you guys a new tree list. Okay, so I'll have him send you a tree list either tomorrow.
He's the urban forestry guy?
He's our urban forestry guy. So you'll be communicating with him. But I'm glad I met all of you.
Right. And they were going to use city trees. So you use the word.
They were going to use what? I can't hear you.
City trees. So you're using the word purchase, but it was, I think, an acquisition, not a cost.
I couldn't hear what you said. I am so sorry.
Okay.
You're breaking up really bad.
You said something like they were going to use city trees.
City.
It was a purchase, it was an acquisition, not a purchase.
Correct. So in other words, Albert, can you hear me now? I'm stopped.
I can hear you better.
Yes.
Right, I stopped my video. The original from KYCC, their side. Hi, Charlie. The KYCC was partnering with City Trees, which is the entity that is in Griffith Park and is a partner with the city as well. So the trees were to be free, and that's that. I mean, they're not purchased as far as I know. The money we gave did not include a purchase.
Albert,
the money that you guys are donating is money to plant and maintain the trees
and water. Yes, and we already have done it. You already received the money, not you personally, obviously. So,
Yes,
but we can
yes.
go over, so we can go over all of that. But I'm glad that we have it whittled down to the right number of trees, and you guys are going to arrange a new inspection and permitting, and you'll give us in email the updated list of kinds of trees.
Yes, the updated list.
Okay.
One of the things that I do want to mention is City Plants, which is the organization that we partner with that will provide the tree.
Okay.
They right now have put a pause to all street trees.
Oh.
So we are meeting with them next week, and we're going to have a better gauge of when this is going to start. But we're hoping September, October. That's why we're saying that the timetable with the permitting and the tree purchase is all going to be done around that time. Not because we want to take our time, but it's because City Plants has put things on pause for right now. They're doing their internal things, and things are on pause.
Well, we had expected late October, November anyway, because of the weather. Didn't want to plant it this time.
Yes, and definitely we do plant, but we try to do maintenance during the summer, because we want to give the trees a chance to be established, right? They have a better chance of getting established in the fall, not in the summer.
So Albert, Dan Cagle and I were focused on this back in 2019, I think it was. And we just wanted to do one simple thing, which is get the trees planted. And right, as Laura rightly notes, there are complications. And in September, I can free up time to work with you, to touch base with you and see, like use the spreadsheet and check off, right? So if the city doesn't come through with curb repair, we need some backups. We need just to make sure that in October we have 25 trees planted so that we can move on to other things. This is a little bit of an albatross.
Where's this area at?
It's mostly along Washington Boulevard.
Washington Boulevard between Normandy and Crenshaw, but there seems to be clusters. So again, the spreadsheet, if you were not on that email, I will forward you the spreadsheet. Yeah,
and I was just going to say that I can work with you more regularly or with Jonathan. I can't do it right now. It needs to be in September. Does that sound doable? To just problem
I will let Jonathan know that that's what you want to do, and maybe send us both an email. I don't want to speak for him and his schedule and what's going on, even though I'm the program manager and supposed to know everything. I still want to be able to, give our staff leeway on what they're managing as well. So I definitely don't see a problem with that. I just he would have to confirm.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Laura, what do you think?
No, I mean, we're in mid-August anyway. He had a medical procedure, so I don't see why September, which is 2.5 weeks away, maybe it's 3 weeks away, but it's not far away. Anyway, I think that's fine. And I think, Albert, the main thing that main point she's making is if we can't get the curbs repaired, there's 2 of them, then we need to go back to 2 of the locations we just said no to and put them back in. So we have 25. And that's okay. So we'll work it out. We're going to all have to be a little flexible.
And we want to plant the trees.
Yes, exactly.
We want to plant the trees. So we want to also make it as easy as possible. We don't want to make it complicated, but urban forestry, there's so many layers. The community has the community has a stigma around trees and all of this stuff. And we don't want to continue building that stigma that's been, people some people come out screaming at our staff because they've had so many nightmares fixing their, a big bill, trying to fix their sewer lines, trying to fix their, water pipes and things of that nature, because things weren't planned before, when there wasn't that much thought put into place before planting a tree. It's not just grabbing a tree and let's put it on the ground. And now we're moving towards that. But I really love the fact that all of you guys want to do that. Like, this is what we want to do. We want to grow the canopy in LA. We need to. It's a concrete jungle out there. And I love everyone who loves to plant trees, because at the end of the day, this is going to go, what we do today, what we all do today, generations in the future are going to benefit from our work today, because they're going to be able to breathe some fresh air. They're going to be able to walk underneath some shade. Their houses are going to be less hot, and just, we want to, I think I'm preaching to the choir, but I really am committed to bringing a greener canopy to LA.
Okay, so this choir is going to say we're running out of time. We have a couple of other agenda items. So you can't, I turned my video off so you can't see my facial expression, but I'm smiling.
So great. So I think we're good. I think, is any other comments about this project?
No, I think, the main thing is that we're going to have to, we probably, meaning Greg, I'm going to ask him to help reach out to Council District 10 and kind of get this really going. Okay. But Elizabeth, we do have a couple other agenda items.
Okay, so moving on.
Hi,
Thank
guys.
you so much,
Nice
Albert.
meeting you.
Thank you, Albert.
Very nice to see you, to meet you. Yay.
Okay. So we have really two other agenda items: the LADWP Cool LA and the biodiversity motion. Whichever one you want to take up first.
Biodiversity.
Okay, so that means I need to share the screen again. This is becoming difficult. The live transcript's getting in the way.
You can turn that off. If you don't mind, I'd like to let Charlie say hi. When she gets it, she bopped off and now she's
back, right?
Yeah.
You see that? I can't see anymore.
Charlie, we can't see you. But if you want to say hi and how you're doing, we'd love to hear. Hey.
Hi, sorry about my delay. And then my computer literally just all of a sudden said shutting down. That's why I disappeared for a few minutes. So I'm having a lot of logistical challenges tonight. But it's really nice to be here. I'm sorry I'm so late. Hello. Thanks for checking in, Elizabeth. That was really nice.
That's great.
Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna, because I'm watching, poor Elizabeth is, 2 hours ahead of us or behind it, is late for her. So there's a resolution that was passed by the Los Angeles Neighborhood Council Coalition, for LANC, that is requesting that all 99 neighborhood councils adopt the following motion or resolution. Which means we would vote for it and move it on to the governing board if we vote for it. Whereas Los Angeles faces a biodiversity crisis wherein over 90% of local butterflies, songbirds, and other pollinators have disappeared in the last century due to the replacement of local flora with non-native plant and tree species. Therefore, you see XXX, United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council appeals to the City of Los Angeles, all applicable government agencies, public-private partnerships, and private parties planting in public space to discontinue the practice of planting non-native landscaping plants and trees, except in situations where the plants and trees are designed to produce food for human consumption or to provide a designated recreational playing field. And henceforth, that these same parties only plant 100% California native landscaping plants and trees. So that's that's the resolution. I understand it's going to be in complete conflict with whatever trees KYCC is about to tell us they want to plant on Washington Boulevard. They're not likely to be natives, guessing. And this is, on the other hand, completely comporting with the tree policy UNNC just adopted through the Planning and Zoning Committee. So what do you guys think?
Could you repeat that bit about the UNNC's policy?
UNNC adopted, it went through planning and zoning because it has more to do with development, a new tree policy, and it's pretty close to this.
Okay. The only thing I would add is that when I asked KYCC about this very question, they were like, you know, we can't put native trees on a lot of these spots for reasons X, Y, and Z, like they just won't work. So there's going to be some pushback. Who knows?
Well,
Maybe there's a way to do it.
Yeah, if they're seeking donated trees from city plants, it's going to be harder than if it turns out they have to purchase the trees.
No,
if they have to purchase the trees, then they can purchase whatever they want.
Right, but I suspect their position was, even if they were to purchase trees, there weren't any natives that would fit in some of these areas.
Oh, true.
So we're appealing.
Well,
we're not requiring, we're appealing.
Well, let me just say, this particular set of words was a request essentially to the city of LA, meaning city council, to create an ordinance. You know, it's more or less to create an ordinance that would require this.
Soften the ground.
Right. So at the moment, all it is a request. You know, send a letter to whoever. It's a resolution. And I do think there's a conflict between creating a canopy and using natives, because, as Dan pointed out, if some of the locations, the spaces to plant in, that, you know, what we're talking about on the street trees, won't support a large native tree, like a live oak, a solid oak. It's not going to be a good street tree. But what we want is a canopy. So we don't want some puny little, it's native, but it doesn't create shade. So, you know, there's going to be conflicts. So what had happened at Blank, because I was there, is that some people pushed back and wanted to add the phrase where feasible, and, you know, don't do it unless it's not feasible to not do it. You know, where feasible.
And then it'll be 0. And
that was rejected. That amendment to this language was rejected. So we don't have to do anything with this. If this is not something that we're in agreement with, we don't have to move it on at all.
You know, I don't think we know enough. What I would like to see is, if we think we can do it with native plants, let's go find somebody who will advise us on that and pick the native plants for us, and then try and get funding to use native plants for our little tree project. I mean, we have a little time maybe to do that.
Right. So do we want to table this particular resolution and hold it for next month so we can all do some more research?
Yes, and it would be, I mean, I can't honestly volunteer to do anything since I have so little energy these days. But if we could identify somebody who could advise us on native trees that would work in these specific locations.
That's great.
That would be great.
People. Yeah.
So we're tabling.
I have a question. Is this something that we could ask someone at KYCC for, like who did they say, the urban forestry guy that wasn't here? Would he be able to like add an insight into this?
We did ask KYCC, and they gave us reasons why they, you know, the native plants wouldn't work. So they're not the people to go to for the solution, but they might be able to provide some detail about the challenges.
And then my second question that I had was, is, like, I know you said changing the language in the other meeting didn't go well, but is there any other option to change the language in this to like include canopy somehow? Like, I don't know how to word that, but like to include that as an exception, like specifically for creating a canopy.
Well, I think maybe what we want to do.
We can table it, but I just.
Yeah, I think maybe we want to table it, but also ask Teresa, who's UNNC's tree liaison, to review it and see what she thinks. And
Yeah, I think we
maybe-
can work with that, the wording. I don't like the phrase 100% California native landscaping plants and trees, because it's like Catalpas are native hybrids, and Catalpa tashkentensis do quite well, I think, ultimately, but they are a hybrid. So if you'd say 100% California native, then I think that even the Catalpa would not make it. And then Theodore Payne is full of, I would say, hybrids.
Right. Okay, well, why don't we, because we're also running out of time, table this, do more research, bring it back. I don't think there's an emergency.
Okay.
I mean, there is an emergency. We're in climate change, but there's not an emergency this month versus next month.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Great.
so the only other thing was this LADWP Cool LA Assistance Program. I could bring up the press release, but I feel like I summarized it pretty well for Elizabeth on this agenda.
What do we need to do? I can't remember. What do we need to do?
Well, what you wanted to do is discuss also, we don't need to do anything with this. They're really doing it. The only thing we would need to do with this is get word out when they finally finalize the program.
Market it.
And get word out. But Elizabeth, I'm having trouble getting word out. You asked what other efficiency rebate upgrade programs are available to residents that they may not be using. So I want to take the screen down, but you wanted to have a brief conversation about that. So this program, I'm not even clear if it's going to be open to everyone or only income qualified people will get money towards getting air conditioners. I'm just not sure. Right now, there's already rebate programs for air conditioners. I looked on the LADWP website, but that are not income qualified, but they're probably brand and capacity qualified. You know, it's becoming quite serious. This heat is becoming quite serious. So that was sort of the thing. But what were you thinking about, Elizabeth, when you said what other programs?
I was thinking that I had time to do research.
Oh.
So every now and then some new grant plops in my inbox and I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that. And then I think about how many people could really use that information. So we're at UNNC, I think are mandated to get the information out to people. So if we could just simply make people know about this air conditioning opportunity. So if we could put that on our website, if we could put that on our social media.
Well, I can ask Raheem to do some of that. And meaning we could put in that watch for this, it's coming, but edit it to note about the already existing rebate program.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to Raheem then.
And there's got to be a phone number of somebody in the city to hold people's hand while they work through that decision and that purchase, right? It's not us.
Well, yeah, I mean,
in
the
DWP.
whole rebate program that LADWP has for many different things, refrigerators, washing machines. It turns out, I mean, like if you want to get one of the little 24 by 24 washing machines, you're not going to get a rebate because what they're trying to do is replace big capacity washers with new big capacity washers that use less water.
Right.
So they're giving the rebates on pretty large washing machines and not on the European style electric 24 by 24, and they have small capacity. And they're much more expensive, I might add.
Okay.
So,
I'm turning into a pumpkin. It's been a hard day. I want to tell you guys that I got this job at the library and it's either 7 miles or 11 miles to my work, and I'm biking.
Yay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's serious.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to tell you that I went to drop off my compost at the farmer's market the past 2 weekends. That program that they started with the LA Compost at the Wellington Square. So I wanted to share that.
Wait a minute, but did you take a selfie? You're gonna do that next week.
I'll take one this weekend. I have compost to drop off this weekend, so I'll take a selfie this weekend.
Wonderful.
And then we can get a social media post. Now, by the way, Gabby got married, so she's been a little busy.
Oh.
But she's coming back. I mean, I see she came to a meeting, so she can help us with that post.
Okay.
We finally got our composter literally this week, so I can start doing. So I was thinking about it tonight. I was like, well, I got to take the pictures, but as I start putting the things in and like what not to put in and what to put in. Yeah, so we're starting off. So it's exciting.
Awesome. This feels so good. We're doing stuff.
Okay, but don't forget to document it, you guys. Cute pictures. And Charlie, I mean, I don't know, how old is your little one at this
3.
point? Is she helping?
She is excited about it because number one,
so a picture of her helping would be really cute.
All right, so she'll definitely be very excited to put stuff in the bin. She was already really excited about spinning it.
Of course. Just hope she doesn't spin a cat, or puppy.
If before it goes to the bigger media, if you guys were interested in doing a group chat, it would be fun.
Oh, sure.
Just to stay in touch that way. I'll take a selfie on my bike.
Oh, perfect.
And then it'd be fun to.
Well, just don't get a cornfield in the background.
What kind of bike are you riding?
I'm riding. What is it? My nephew's. It might be a Giant. And but my Ride One Up electric is getting built now.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Yeah. So I want to go, you guys, and it's 11. Well, it's 9 there. So you guys have a nice evening.
Bye,
okay, so you're adjourning the meeting. You're officially adjourning.
I'm officially adjourning the meeting, and everybody have a great night. Keep up the good work. Thanks for